What's up, metalheads? Look what we're going to look at today. We're going to review The Dark Tower by Burning Witches. How many of you know who Burning Witches is? Well, we're going to check out two of their cover songs that they do that I haven't heard yet, and then we're going to review the album right after this. All right, here we go.
Welcome to Eric's React and Review. Music, comic books, movie trailers, toys, and more. Please hit subscribe.
Yeah! I'm really in the studio. I have a studio audience. I'm in the studio. I'm in Hollywood right now. And I'm just kidding. I'm in Portland, Oregon, where it's super hot right now, man. As you can see, I got I guess I still gotta look cool, man, with my beanie on. I don't care if I'm dripping sweat, Look, I got this on for the special occasion that we're gonna be talking about. Burning Witches, the band, all female metal band. This is a band that here, let me see if I can pull up a pic real quick. If you guys haven't seen Burning Witches before, they are a 5-piece, gone through different member changes throughout the years. They're a band that I've been following since I first heard of them. I think maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I think I came across them on YouTube, and there was it wasn't, from what I heard, there wasn't enough for me to really. I like what I heard. It just wasn't enough. It wasn't blowing me away to where I'm like, oh my god, I got to get their record. I like the fact that they're capturing this 80s metal sound, but the stuff I heard in the past, it kind of made me feel like a little bit. I don't want to use the word pretentious. Maybe that could be it. It almost felt like it was, in other words, it made me feel like they were trying too hard to sound like the 80s. They weren't just writing good metal songs. They were just like, hey, this sounds like something you'd hear in the 80s, or something. I don't know. I'm probably wrong on that assessment there. But hey, what happened? I was like, I think I got a ghost in here. Anyway, yeah. So I just kind of would think, I thought to myself, well, maybe the next album, and the next album came out and I liked it. And then I said, well, let me give them a little bit more time, and again, it's like, I would only hear a couple of songs at a time. It's not like I really dug into their albums, but again, because the music wasn't blowing me enough away to where I want to hear everything about them. Fast forward to this year, 2023, a bunch of new albums are coming out. I come across their new video, World on Fire, and I heard that, and I was like, okay, this is exactly what I was been waiting for them to come to this moment in their sound. And because it's heavy, it's got a lot of Judas Priest in it. In fact, it's got a little bit too much Judas Priest in the verse. It almost sounds like she actually took a melody from Rob Halford from a song off of Firepower, which I can't place the name of the song. I might check that out a little bit later just to see where, but anyway, so I go out and I order the record. So I was like, okay, I like this enough to where I'm going to order the record. And I did. I got it in the mail the other day. I got The Dark Tower, if you can see it. Burning Witches. I love their covers. That's one thing I've always liked about them, was they have kick-ass freaking album covers, man. Look at the artwork. And you open it up, it's got the band, the lyrics. The back looks cool. Pentagram. Look. See? Look, man. No, I did not get this from Burning Witches. Although they should actually license out this design and maybe sell Burning Witches pentagrams. But with skulls. I'm sure they got their own necklaces. But yeah, so, and the records is black vinyl. Nothing on the inside. There's no inserts or nothing like that. But all of a sudden, one of my friends who's a Burning Witches fan, and Gary, if you're watching this, man, thank you for letting me know after I got the record that they do a cover of "I Want to Be Somebody" by Wasp, which is one of my favorite freaking bands. Remember Wasp, like from this album from 1984. So they do "I Want to Be Somebody." And that was actually one of our first cover songs back in the day with our band Will O Wisp. We did "I Want to Be Somebody." I learned that out of the Guitar Magazine. That was one of the first songs that I learned out of a Guitar Magazine, reading tablature. So they do a cover of that, and I haven't heard it because it was not on the record. It's not on the album. Something is probably on the CD, right? So I haven't heard it yet. And then come to find out later, they do "Shot in the Dark" as well by Ozzy Osbourne, which is another great song because it's freaking got Jakey Lee, like one of my all-time favorite guitar players is Jakey Lee. He's the reason why I picked up playing guitar, because I saw him in 1984 with Ozzy Osbourne. Look, I'm even wearing Ozzy's shirt. This is from the new album, The Patient Number 9, the Todd McFarlane art, and Jason Alexander. Anyway, so yeah, so we're gonna what we're gonna do first. I'm gonna react to 2 songs. We're gonna react to "I Want to Be Somebody," their Wasp cover, and then I'm gonna listen to and react to "The Shot in the Dark" by Ozzy. Now they don't have videos for these. It's just gonna be the song with the JPEG of the album cover. But yeah, but I definitely want to hear these. I want to hear what they do with these songs. It's gonna be because they have a great sound. We'll get into that later because then after this, I'm going to go track by track of what I think about the record and of the whole album. And yeah, so and if you stream iTunes or Spotify, if you stream the album on that, you can actually hear those 2 songs on there as well. So I think a lot of bands are starting to do that now, where it's like, I'm a vinyl guy. Like I always try to get vinyl first. I'll get CDs as last resort. No, it's cassettes as last resort, but CDs as second. But I'm thinking I'm going to have to probably start getting CDs first now because it seems to me like a lot of the bands are releasing the bonus tracks on CDs. Yeah, so they're not going to be on the, which is understandable because you can only fit so many songs on a vinyl without it going over too many. Because there's a lot of bands are now doing the 2 LP thing, sometimes even the 3 LP where there's like 3 songs on each side. Eddie Trunk's always goofing on us vinyl addicts. Yeah, man, I never can imagine myself have to flip the record over, especially 6 times just to hear a freaking album and the little cracks in the pops. And so he doesn't understand, man. That's the beauty of it. Just well, you get exercise too, because you get to kick back, lay on your bed, read the lyrics, and you have to get up and flip the record over. So that's you're burning calories, man. So there's a health benefit to listening to records, everyone. You heard that from me. All right? Yeah. All right, let's do this. So let's check out "I Want to Be Somebody" by Burning Witches. This is their cover of Wasp, "I Want to Be Somebody." All right, here we go.
You say you don't want to run and hide a face that no one knows, and everyone you meet, you gotta show. You're nobody's slave, nobody's chains are holding you. You hold your fist up high and rule this out. Oh, you just got to be okay.
That's different.
'Cause I got to be somebody to cry out. I wanna be somebody soon. I wanna be somebody too. I wanna be somebody soon. I wanna be somebody too. You
want to be somebody. Why can't I be somebody? Anybody but somebody or everybody. What'd you think of that? Okay. It's heavy. The voice is good. You know, obviously, no one can match Blackie Lawless. I mean, Blackie's got his own voice. My complaint was the way they did the pre-chorus and that little breakdown about, you know, fast cars and then lots of rock and roll. The chords behind it, it sounds to me like they were, I mean, I don't know, maybe they did it on purpose. I'm thinking, did you figure out the song right? Like, did you play it by ear? Did you read the tablature like I did back in the day? Didn't you read the tablature? There's supposed to be some other chords going on behind there. Yeah, I didn't really care too much about the pre-chorus, the way they did that, the arrangement on that. You know, because it sounds like they're trying to, it almost sounded like the song was exactly like how Wasp does it with the same pace and tempo, but then they switched up with that pre-chorus. Yeah, so maybe I have to hear it again to really like it. I'm going to prefer the original over this one, yeah, no matter what. No offense to the ladies, no offense to Burning Witches, but I don't know what to say. I just say I like it. I like it. I just don't like that one part of the pre-chorus. It's just it sounds weird because it's the way it just fades, and then there's like you can't hear the movement in the background, like the movement of the bass, like you do in the original. You know, the chord changes, and it sounds like they almost do it like a second, like an extra time or something. I don't know. Just, you know, this is me being a music critic. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so we heard "I Want to Be Somebody" by Burning Witches, again from the album Wasp from 1984. Okay, now we're going to get into their second cover that they do on the record. It's not on the vinyl, so kids, get out there. I'm going to have to buy the CD now. This is how they rape you for your money. So I'm going to get the CD as well. Yeah, because I want to get those two songs on it. Anyway, so we're going to check out their cover of Shot in the Dark from Ozzy Osbourne on the Ultimate Sin record. Now, if anybody remembers the video, if you're an old fart like me, you know, back in MTV days, you know, that's when Ozzy was real glammed out. He had this super glittery looking robe on. His hair was kind of spiked out, all curly, looked like he just got out of a beauty salon, got a perm or whatever. That was the thing back in the day, man. If you're a rocker and you got a perm, you were cool, man. You're like, yeah, man. So did you see Billy the other day, man? He got a fucking perm, man. Yeah, it looks cool, man. Or the cropped hair, like did you see Joe, man? He got cropped. His hair's cropped, man. Yeah, the mullet and shit. Woo! So anyway, the video was pretty cool. It's a great song though, like the Jakey Lee, and also the little harmonics that he does. So we're gonna see what they do with it. Do they do the harmonics too? You know. So let's see. Here we are with Burning Witches with their version of Ozzy Osbourne's "Shot in the Dark." Whoa, that's big right away.
In the night, I can hear my heavy breathing. Paid for the pill, but it doesn't seem right. Something that I can't believe in. Voices are calling from inside my head. I can hear them, I can hear them. Vanishing memories of things that were said. They can't try to hurt me now. All is shut in the dark. One step away from you, just a shot in the dark. Always creeping up on you. Oh, right. Taught by the powers that preach over me, I can hear their empty reasons. I wouldn't listen, I learned how to fight. I opened up my mind to treason. But just like the wounded, when it's too late, they remember, they surrender. Never look careful, the people who hate, and
Nice. I always like to hear the little fade outs and see what all the stuff they're doing. If you listen to the Dio just put out a remix of the Holy Diver album, and the producer, he, the song Holy Diver normally fades, but then what he did, he left all that in. He left out the main. He didn't fade it out. He let it do a real ending, and so the band kept going and going and going, and they finally did. So yeah. So anyway, I love hearing the fade outs, and I love hearing all the little things that go on. We realized just fading out, and how he was getting high vocals there. Okay, so this song, the vocals were great. The song was great too. I mean, I like this cover better than the Wasp one. It's dirty sounding. The guitars are real raw and dirty sounding, which I like. Kind of reminds me of like because Jakey Lee always said that he felt that they kind of drowned out his guitar a lot with the keyboards and stuff. That the original mix was actually more guitar, and then Sharon Osbourne or whoever got in there and said, "No, we need more keyboards," and all the execs are those shooting ties by. There was too much guitars, so they kind of made it sort of a little bit more muddier with the keyboards. So this kind of sounds like maybe this is what Ultimate Sin would have sounded like had they not done that on the original album. A little bit disappointing in the harmonics in the beginning. It was a little bit of a different arrangement the way they did it. Still sounded good though. I mean, it's like I said. I mean, I don't expect them to do the cover exactly like the original. As a matter of fact, when I do a cover, it's like I want to do it different than the original, but there's certain covers that if you do change certain aspects of it too much, then it kind of loses it, because there are certain little parts of a certain song that are just, they have to stay in there. They have to be part of that, no matter what. So, yeah. But anyway, it's a good song. It's a good cover. All right. So what do you guys think of that? Shot in the Dark, 80s classic. I Want to Be Somebody, another 80s classic. All right, so let's get into the record now, man. Okay, so this album came out this year. It's a 2023 release. It's definitely going to be in my top 20 from what I've been listening to so far. I'm going to pull up my notes on what I wrote. My cat is crying. It's because she's hungry. All right, so it's got like let me see how many tracks it's got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 15 tracks if you include the bonus tracks, but I think 12 tracks on the actual record. So the first song is called Rise of Darkness, okay? And it's just an intro. It's a nice and melodic, and it's an instrumental. Very good intro, though. To me, one of the best intros, I think, especially that I favor the most, is Dawkins' Without Warning on the Tooth and Nail album. To me, that every time I hear that intro on that album, it just takes me away to a whole like different place. I mean, even today I can listen to that album, and the first thing that comes up when Without Warning starts, those guitars, man, it just takes me away. And this kind of reminds me of that. As a matter of fact, it's very close to that. So yeah, so good job on that intro. Goes right into Unleash the Beast, featuring Courtney Cox. Now, I'm gonna have to figure out. I've seen that she has 3 song credits. And I'm thinking, is this Courtney Cox, the actress? I should have did some research before I started this recording. I'm definitely going to look at let me see the Wikipedia here. Because what I want to know is, if this is Courtney Cox from Friends and Scream, what did she do on the record? You know what I mean? Like, does she sing? Does she play guitar? Is she? I didn't know she was even a metalhead or anything. But yeah, so we'll have to look at the Wikipedia here in a little bit. So yeah, excuse me on that. But yeah, so Courtney Cox, it says Unleash the Beast featuring Courtney Cox. And what it is, it starts out with it's a very kick-ass song. I mean, it just starts off like classic freaking sounding metal. The guitars are in your face. It's a perfect tempo. It's definitely the kind of song you want to put on and you want to just break some shit in your house, man. It's going to get you to do that. All right, so then moving on, we got Renegades. It's a real Motley Crue sounding song. To me, it reminds me of something off the Shout at the Devil album, or even like early Accept. Very classic metal. I mean, you could actually play this for someone in the 80s like me, and you could probably tell them that it was actually like you could actually tell somebody that this was released in the 80s, and they would actually believe it. Like, I would actually believe you. If you came to me and say, hey, have you heard that song Renegades by this band Burning Witches? Yeah, their album came out in like 1983, and they put the song on. I'm like, holy shit, man, that's fucking badass, man. Yes, I would totally believe it. Next song, Evil Witch. I'm sweating, man. It's fucking hot up in this joint, man. It's fucking Portland, Oregon, and it's 92 degrees, but it feels 102. Evil Witch. It's a more heaviness in the vein of classic metal. You know, definitely a lot of classic. I'm hearing a lot of classic Accept on here on this album. Like, you know, like I'm talking about the Udo Dirksteiner ears. Very chunky riffing. Also sounds like it could be on the Judas Priest Painkiller album. Like I hear a lot of Judas Priest in their songs as well. Okay, now World on Fire is a video, the single that came out. I think it was one of the first videos that came out. I know they probably got another video, but and this song is really good. This is a song that hooked me into buying the record. I said, okay, this is badass. Okay, they earn my respect now. They've always had my respect, but they earn it enough to where I'm going to buy their freaking record. Shell out my dollars. So I'm thinking, do I pay rent or do I buy Bernie Rich's record? I bought the Bernie Rich's record. Now I'm late on rent. All right. Woo! Totally Judas Priest sounding, and again something that you could hear on Painkiller, especially the chorus. It's just this definitely a Judas Priest sounding chorus. The verse melody sounds like something that she maybe borrowed from Rob Halford himself. I mean, I'm thinking of it. It's a song on Firepower. I just can't think of the title. I'm gonna have to go through and listen to it. I know it's almost the exact melody that she's singing that verse. It's almost the same melody that Rob Halford. I'm not gonna say she ripped it off or anything. Hopefully, there's no plagiarism going on here. You know, there's not gonna be a Ed Sheeran versus freaking what's his name? Marvin Gaye. Woo! You know, Ed Sheeran's okay. I'm going to do reaction when that comes out later in the year. Ed Sheeran is going to be doing a song with Cradle of Filth. That's going to be interesting. Anyway, back to Burning Witches. I'm blabbing too much. Tomorrow, this song is called. It's a ballad. This is the power ballad on the album. Now, who'd have thought that these girls with that wicked-looking album cover could do a nice, beautiful power ballad? And again, features Courtney Cox. So I'm going to find out what Courtney Cox has to do with this album. Here we go with and then so in the lyrics she says, you know, tomorrow is a brand new day, and I've always said that. You know, I'm an alcohol and drug counselor, and I usually say that to a lot of my clients who are struggling. I say, you know what, hey, tomorrow's going to be a brand new day. I kind of felt like I made that saying up because I always said it like I was saying it for years, even back in when I was struggling. I say, hey, you know, tomorrow's going to be a brand new day. That was like my mantra I would live by. And then even as I got clean and sober, I actually stuck with that mantra because I would always say, hey, whatever happens today, tomorrow's a brand new day. You know, like I'll have somebody who relapsed or something say, hey, look, man, you relapsed. But look, today is today. Tomorrow's a brand new day. And today's going to be yesterday. You know, it's going to be in the past. So don't dwell on yesterday. Don't worry about tomorrow. Just focus on today. That's all you got to do. Focus on today. Don't dwell on yesterday. Don't worry about tomorrow. Focus on today. And the song totally reminds me of a dear friend I kind of feel like I lost recently, and not to death or anything, but just into the abyss of life. And so when I hear it, it kind of reminds me of that. And very powerful vocal melodies. She's a great singer. And we'll go through the band members here in a little bit. House of Blood. This is the next track, House of Blood. Creepy little instrumental. This leads into the next song. Has a very King Diamond-like vibe. The Dark Tower. This is the title track. Nice opening riff, kind of Slayer sounding, some Testament vibes going on. Pretty cool song overall. Nothing groundbreaking as far as originality, but that's okay because a good song trumps originality any day. In other words, you don't have to like, if you have a really good, powerful song that just hits somebody and hits you in a certain way, it doesn't matter if it sounds like something you've heard before, if it's just a common chord progression or whatever. It doesn't need to be freaking acid jazz or nothing, you know, or like complex progressive rock or progressive metal. No, it's just a good song is a good song, and that takes precedence over any original, trying to be original or trying to be weird or whatever, you know. Arrow of Time. This is not a Queensryche cover because they have a song called Arrow of Time as well. That was on their Verdict album, I believe, or it might have been on Human Condition. Anyway, this is not a cover of that, but it's has a very interesting guitar sound in the verses. It sounds doubled up and kind of like stacked octaves. I couldn't really. It's kind of a song I'm going to go back and kind of dissect with my guitar and see what the hell they're doing there because it sounds pretty cool. Nice melody on the chorus. I really like it. I really like the chorus. Doomed to Die is the next track. In your face, stop and go guitars. Then they break into like Halloween style guitar sound. Gang vocals singing the title. You know, there's another riff I'm hearing in there, but I can't place where I've heard that riff before. But it's very cool sounding. And again, very King Diamond sounding. I'm hearing King Diamond, Judas Priest, Accept, Motley Crue, Yeah. Into the Unknown is another song coming up. We're getting towards the end of the album here. This is like the second to the last track on the vinyl anyway. Totally classic metal riffing, good tempo, gives the song a powerful feel, really good chorus. This could be like a radio hit. If radio would get their head out of their asses and actually play real music, this song could actually be on the radio and actually turn a lot of heads. All right. So the Lost Souls. This is the very last song on the LP anyway. The Lost Souls. Another banger in the vein of King Diamond, Judas Priest. Man, these chicks are really dialed in. They really are dialed into that classic 80s metal sound. And then the next few songs are the ones we just reviewed, Shot in the Dark and I Want to Be Somebody, if you get the bonus CD version, I guess. So they're very dialed in on this 80s metal sound. And again, earlier when I heard them, I wasn't like a huge fan of it because I thought it sounded a little bit too pretentious or a little bit too like sort of like planned out. In other words, hey, let's make some 80s sounding music, I do the same thing though. Like my song Warmonger, it's like, hey, let's give it an 80s feel, so I'm kind of guilty of the same thing. Maybe I'm projecting. That's what I'm doing. Eric, you're projecting. You're mad at yourself for being that way. Yeah, probably. Yeah, you're right. So anyway, so this is the Dark Tower. This is what we just got to check. I love that freaking art though, man. That right there is worth the cost of the record alone. Even if the songs all sucked on it, which they don't, the album cover right there would totally win it all. Now the singer, her name is Laura Goldeman. I'm gonna probably butcher their names because they have some pretty trippy names. Now she's not the original singer. I guess the original singer was Serena Telly. And I think she might play guitar too, but I know she's the original singer. She's the singer I heard on those first couple albums that when I first started listening to them. And then I'm not sure what year she came in, but Laura Golderman on vocals. And then we got on lead guitar, we got Larissa Ernst. I think she's the one doing all the harmonies and stuff because the other guitar player, Romana, she's just considered a rhythm guitarist. So Rohana Kalkuhl, if I'm saying her name right. Kalkuhl on rhythm guitars. Ramona. So Ramona and Larissa are the two guitar players. She's the lead guitar player. Larissa is. And then we got Janine Grob on bass. She's the redhead of the bunch. The rest are all blondes except for the drummer too. So she's the redhead. I'm not gonna make any ginger jokes. Leave it up to the audience to do that. Be kind, be nice. All right, she's a badass bass player. And then we got who's the drummer? Did I get the drummer in here? Forgot to load a picture of the drummer. Anyway, the drummer is Laura Golderman. No. Oh, Lala Frisch. I don't have a picture loaded up here. Sorry about that, guys. But anyway, she's an Asian chick. She's very attractive, but a really powerful drummer. Lala Frischkinskins. I can't say her last name, so maybe that's why I didn't load up a picture. Anyway, so yeah, badass drummer, badass band. Oh, and I guess the guitar player used to be Sonia Anubis Noselder. I'm probably butchering her last name. So she went on. I believe she's in Crypta now. But yeah, so she was the original guitar player there. I don't know if the original guitar player. But anyway, so Burning Witches, they formed in let's see, what were they? Casper, blah blah. I want to say they formed in 2016. Yeah, 2015 is when they formed to present. All right, so they're on Nonstop Music Records, Nuclear Blast Records, Napalm Records, all the labels they've been on. I still want to find out, like, I don't know, I'd have to read through here as far as what Courtney Cox has to do with Burning Witches, okay? But we're already half hour in. I don't want to, like, burn up this whole episode. I'm trying to find out the Courtney Cox, man. All right, so there you have it. There's my thoughts on Burning Witches, The Dark Tower. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to explore the rest of their catalog and probably get more into it. Now that I heard what they can actually pull off. Not that they pulled off anything bad in the past. It just wasn't enough to grab me. But going back, I'm probably going to get grabbed now because I'm going to actually be able to sort of really listen to it objectively or subjectively. Subjectively, maybe. Anyway, I'm going to be able to give it a good listen and really, discover some new stuff by them. So in other words, their old albums are going to be new albums to me. So I went backwards. I got their newest albums. I'm going to go back and get their older ones, and they'll be the new albums for me. Right? So yeah. So okay. So there we have it. Burning Witches, The Tower. We also reviewed I Want to Be Somebody, which I gave that 3 horns up. All right. I'm going to give Shot in the Dark 4 horns up because I thought that was a better cover. They did a better job on that. I like what they did with I Want to Be Somebody. I just wasn't really too thrilled about the way the pre-chorus came out in that middle section breakdown after the guitar solos, or was it before the guitar solo, after the guitar solo? They did a good job on the guitar solos on both songs. Again, I don't expect them to be exactly note for note because you're doing a cover and you want to make it your own. So they really did a good job on those solos. And but Jakey Lee, he's untouchable, man. He's untouchable. Sorry, girls, can't touch Jakey Lee, man. Chris Holmes, a little bit. Chris Holmes is a great. I love Chris Holmes. I like his solo shit. I like the way he sings, man. He sings like this. I wanna be somebody too. All right, everyone. I'm gonna cut out. I gotta eat. It's getting hot. All right. I hope you enjoyed this, and get out there and get Burning Witches, The Dark Tower. I hope I turned you on to them if you haven't heard them before, and if you have, maybe you could give me a little bit information more about them. Tell me about this Courtney Cox. What does she have to do with the band? Did she co-write the songs? Did she sing on them? Did she play guitar or something that we didn't know about? She's friends with everybody. Did she scream? She wasn't scream, right? Yeah, she was that one guy's brother or sister, the nerdy guy, the nerdy cop guy or whatever. She was the sister, wasn't she? Anyway, or no, were they boyfriend and girlfriend in real life? That's probably where I'm making a connection. Yeah. Anyway, Arquette. What's his name? Bill Arquette or Don Arquette, one actor. Anyway, so hey, be kind to everyone. Be kind to yourself. And like I always say, if you're not good to yourself, you're no good to anyone else. All right? So horns up and peace out. Hey, now where the fuck is this damn button at to turn this thing off, huh? God damn technology. What the hell? Let's see.